What's up? Welcome back to the tutorial series for Omega Game Framework, the best gameplay framework for Unreal Engine. Today we're going to be covering basics of saving and loading your game. OGF has a very robust save system, but it's also very easy to use, easy to set variables and save those variables to save games and load games, and even save and load games to non-traditional paths. So to kind of show the basics of it, I've set up two levels here. We have level 1 and level 2, and to show kind of the built-in functionality, we're going to just walk from one to the other, save the game, and then reload it. So what we're going to do first, though, is I'm going to pull up System, Exploration, or Exploration Mode. Make sure you have auto-receive input turned on here so you can actually do input on this. Then I have a hyphen and an equals set up just for the handling the saving and loading. Let's get a save subsystem and do save game to slot. We'll save to slot 0. Then we're going to do load game from slot. Now this is just loading it into memory. In order to actually start using this game, we will need to do start game. And in this case, we're going to do load save level. Why is this? Well, Omega Game Framework always has two save files active. If I go in here, I can show you the active save data and the global save data. Now the way it works is that whenever you start up the game, you'll have both of these activated, but they're a little different in that an active save data is instanced. I don't know how to put this. This is like the save data for your current game that you are running. Whenever you start a new game or load a previous game, you'll get a new save data, and it'll be cleared out whenever you close the game. So yeah, things like player levels or health or items collected, whatever, those will all go inside here. They'll be saved with a file and cleared out whenever you start a new or load a new game or load a previous game. The global save data is created the first time you boot up your game, and then that same file is reloaded every time thereafter. So this allows you to save stuff, basically save entire user data, things like New Game Plus or total collected items that you could view in like an extras menu or things like that. And that's the two differences between the two of these. So global data will all automatically be created. For an active game, you'll actually need to do create new game here and then run start game. I believe this actually has a standalone function as well. Save, you can do save create new game and then start that game. You can also load its save level, which we're going to do right now and demonstrate. So we're going to do slot 0, load from slot 0, and start that game. So I do this. We're going to walk into here. Now this is a level transition. I'll go over these in a different tutorial, but we'll walk up, let's say right about here. This is pretty far away from the starting point. And then I'm going to hit minus to save the game. Let's close out of this. If I start up again, hit play, and hit that, we'll load up our save game in the same spot we were. I think the transform is a little messed up just because the player controller I'm using, but the rotation. But we are spawning in the exact same, because of the camera controller, right? But we are spawning actually in the exact same location. And if I set up the camera controller right, it'll keep the rotation as well. So yeah, we're loading into our exact location. And there's other methods for saving data that I might go over for individual actors as well. But yeah, that's the basics of creating and loading a save game. Now, under Omega settings, you have some configuration values for the save system. For example, what is the prefix of a save game? What's the prefix or the name of a global save? You can also create a custom save class. And here, under the save game and the save global, you can set up all your individual variables that you want to use for this specific save, and that's totally fine. However, there is a system already set in place for loading and saving different variables. Now, say you want an easy way to save and load variables in your game. Well, that's where global variables come in. So if you look up global var, you have a lot of different options here for setting and getting the values of global variables. So for now, we'll do, why don't we do integer? We're going to set and get our global integer values. Now, first thing you want to notice, though, is that they're right now set to world. So if you click on this, you actually have a few different areas you can choose where to write this global variable to. The world, the game instance, the game save, or the global save. In this case, we want to use the save game. So we will do that. Let's go into our tick, so we can check this. Print We're going to print our global variable. We'll call it tesint, and tesint there as well. Grab that off. We'll say when I hit 0, we're going to set it to 77. All right, prints out there. We'll make it a shorter print as well. So now if I hit play, you'll see we are printing out 0 because that's the current value. If I hit 0 and change it, that's our save value, 77. Let's say I go over here instead and do the save game here. Now let's restart, load our game, and there, 77, because that value is saved. And you can actually inspect what your current save state and save values are by using something called the Omega Control Panel. Now this is a little bit more advanced, but it's fine to go over here. You'll find this in the actual OGF plugin. If I just look up Control Panel, this is an editor utility widget right here. Just do run editor utility widget, and I've got this set up right here. Buttons might be changed, but you have some of these are still in progress, but the main two you want to worry about are debug profiler, which we'll go over later, and the save inspector in this case. So if I resume this, you can actually, there, you can see the current status of the, and you can see the time counting up there, of both the global save and the game save, and what my current values for this are. So if I go ahead and reload that, and I'll do this here and do get again, there's a value, 77. And so you can also edit these values from here directly, which is mainly for debugging and editor purposes. You also have save entities, which I won't go super into depth with, but I'll just kind of cover them quickly. Save entities allow you to save data onto specific identifiers, such as a data asset, a name, or a GUID. So if I look up here and do entity set tags, we'll say, you can choose again where they're saved to. This one's default saved to the save game, but you can do the others as well. And then entity get tags. And there's lots of other entity functions you can do, but we'll just cover these. So we're going to get our tags, and we're going to set the tags are. Now you'll need to do them from entity ID, and that actually you can just do things like, let's say, you can show the three things that can be converted to an entity ID. So a name, a GUID, and a data asset. So tar, and then we can set a tag to that, and then get that tag. And it'll work the same way, you know, like global variables, just identified to that. So if you want to save data to like a specific character or something, or a level or something, you can just use this method. Lastly, we actually allow you to save to some unconventional places. So I'm going to switch over my game mode to the demo, open it up, and go into save. And you'll actually see up here you have two places, both the user folder and the game folder. Now for editor, we actually have these set so it automatically uses both of them as the same thing. Let me go ahead and turn that off and restart. But you actually have user folder and game folder. Now the user folder lets you save save directly to the user data, which is normally where save files in a packaged game go. But you can also save to the game folder. And this is just this specific implementation of it, but it's the same way where you can save to specific locations. So how do you do that? Well, if we just look up save, you have tons of different save functions here. But the main ones you want to worry about are, I think it's async save and load. Not these ones, you want these ones, because these are from Omega Game Framework. Now, once again, it's got that bug where it's duplicating all functionality, so ignore that. Just use the top one, but you can load all Omega games in path. You can load a file from a specific path, or async, save to a specific path. And again, these are async, so it'll actually gives you a start and end state for the saving, and save it out here. And we can put in any file path, so this will save to whatever file path anywhere on your computer that you want. You do have some helpers for this. If I do directory, you can actually get a directory like user data or the game folder. These are default directories as well. I believe you can also do, you can make that path from a slot or from a name. But this gives you a ton of extra ways you can save and load data if you want to do some really creative things. Or maybe just you want to store data in a more local spot. And that, all in all, is the basics of saving and loading a game in Omega Game Framework.